Hello, trainers, and welcome to the CLDL Master Larry Division Season 4, Week 0/1 Power Rankings. I'm Stee, and I'm joined here by Wombat. Wombat, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good to hear. I'm ready to judge Master Division with very little actual Pokemon intelligence on my side. But you're the brains here. I just make OBS work and make dad jokes, I guess.
That sounds like a good plan. I have been playing draft for a while, so I guess you could say I'm a little seasoned. And I'm in master for a reason, as you could say. So
And
I'm
I
ready to judge everyone else harshly in the division and
yeah,
prop my own team up.
you gotta spit some fire. That's what you're here for. And
Yep.
I'm here to rate teams on how memeable they are and talk about how I think Mr. Mime is Ash's dad.
Okay.
Without further ado, let's jump in to our power rankings. We will be going in team order from the spreadsheet. So we'll be starting out with Burgo's LA Gru Kings. Take it away, Wombat.
All right. So the team is Iron Valiant, Terra Garchomp, Mew, Sylveon, Breloom, Kilowattrel, Terra Skuntank, Empoleon, Hisuian Typhlosion, and Terra Porygon. So the first thing that sticks out to me when I look at this team is the top three: Iron Valiant, Garchomp, Mew, Terragon, Garchomp. That top three core is really, really, really strong. Iron Valiant plus Garchomp especially have really good offensive synergy. Garchomp is really good at beating the fires, the poisons, and the steals, or not necessarily the steals, but the fires and poisons that Iron Valiant really struggles with. So I really like that top two. And then Mew is Mew.
Yeah,
I
me,
love
he
Mew.
does it all.
It can do literally anything. So whatever that Burigo wants it to do that week, it can fill the hole.
That's what I've
But
always liked about Mew. You don't know, like, it's psychic, but you don't really know how to prep for it. It's kind of that
yeah.
nice curveball to throw at a team.
hmm I mean, usually there's a set that's like, I guess, quote unquote, best for the matchup, but you can do anything with it still. Like, it's still really good. Some other good things about the team that I can see are the speed tiers are really nice. Has some pretty good high end speed. Good scarfing options. Iron Valiant with booster energy is really nice. That kind of stuff. And then the hazard setting as well. Mew and Garchomp don't want to run it every week, but Empoleon can usually fit rocks, and then one of the two can run spikes if they want. And then even T spikes with Skuntank are an option.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
So I do like the hazard game here.
Do you
But
run Spore on Breloom? Is that an
um,
option?
I mean, you can. It's definitely really viable. It's either usually banned Breloom or like Subspore or like Subseed Spore, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
spicy.
I like Spore Breloom. Even on bandit sets, if you don't need a fourth move, you can just throw on Spore. Sleep is never a bad thing.
Yeah, just for some utility, you never know what's coming.
Yeah, yeah. Some other things I did notice about the team a little bit less favorable. I don't really know what Terra Skuntank and Terra Porygon are gonna do. Like, I can't think of a matchup where Terra Garchomp isn't the way to go.
Yeah, right.
Because you draft Porygon for like a bulky normal type to beat ghosts like Spectrier. And Skuntank just doesn't do anything with Terra. So I mean, it was because they couldn't Terra higher pointed Mons, I
Mm.
assume. But I just don't see them doing anything with Terra. And only having Defog for removal kind of hampers or like puts a damper on like the hazards that I talked about. Because then you
Mm.
just get rid of them yourself if you ever want to get rid of your opponent's hazards, if they have webs or like T-spikes or something that you really want to get rid of.
Can you make
And
Mew
then
spin? Is that worth anything?
I don't think Mew can learn Rapid Spin. If it can, that's news to me. Let me check.
It
I
says on
actually
here it can learn Ice Spinner. Isn't that just the ice version of Rapid Spin? Or am I
no,
like
Ice
talking
Spinner
out my ass?
gets rid of terrain,
Oh, okay.
so it is a little different. But let me just check if it has Rapid Spin real fast. I don't believe so.
Yeah, it's
It
not on
does
the
not. So yeah,
it's
it
not
does
on
not.
the Hawk deck. I guess we should shout out using Team Hawk's spreadsheet for all this.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
completely
everyone
agree.
probably already knows about it, but if you don't, it's like a necessity.
Hawk's prep document is amazing. I use it myself for prep. So big shout out to Ballhawk.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing I noticed was strong ground types and strong fairy types could be an issue. Your ground resists are Breloom and Kilowattrel, whereas Breloom is an Edgequake resist, but sometimes it's not that bulky. It's pretty frail, so it can be worn down. And Kilowattrel just dies to a rock move.
Yeah,
And
rip.
then with fairy, you have Empoleon and Hisui and Typhlosion, but which like are pretty good fairy resists, especially Empoleon. But that can be worn down pretty quickly because it doesn't have roost and stuff like that if they have spikes up. So I would just be wary with those matchups.
Okay, well, I think that's all we got for the Gru Kings, unless you have anything else.
No, I think that's all I really noticed. Overall, pretty good team. Um, I do quite like it. This looks like a team that I would enjoy. I did rank it in the top 5 of my rankings. So
Oh, okay. And now we go from the Gru Kings to, I don't know how this team got in here. It kind of looks like trash to me.
yeah, this team's really
Is
bad.
it
I
is it
don't
a
know who
joke?
drafted
Is
this
this like a
garbage.
joke? I guess we
I
move
don't
on to the South Bend Snows, and I'm reading here that Wombat Baby is the coach of
yeah.
this team.
I don't know who that guy is. They're probably really bad. They probably bribed the admins to let him in master. But
I lied. I fucking love Mega Blastoise.
oh yeah,
I
it's one of my water types in Nat decks that I like default to when I don't really know what water type to take. It's like either Mega Blastoise or Primarina, and Primarina was gone, so I was like, oh, Mega Blastoise,
and
they're
you
coming
can
on the
run
team.
so much stupid shit on Mega Blastoise.
hmm it's really good filler, and especially now that it has Flip Turn,
Yeah.
it can do bulky sets really well as well.
And it gets Ice
So
Beam just for like weird dragon coverage if you need it.
oh, it gets Dragon Pulse too with Mega Launcher. It gets Dark
It
Pulse,
does get
Dragon
Dragon
Pulse,
Pulse, that's
Aura
right.
Pulse, all that stuff. Also,
Yeah.
one other synergy. I guess I should say the team before we talk too much.
Yeah.
So we got Tapu Koko. The docs actually run. It's Terra Iron Moth over Terra Tapu Koko.
Oh.
Iron Treads, Iron Leaves, Iron Jugulus, Mega Blastoise, Excalibur, Vekavolt, Hitmonlee, and Quilladin.
We have
So
updated to show the correct
there we go. So Tapu Koko, as you can see with the 4 Quark Drive Mons and the Unburdened Mon,
Yeah, wonder what that's about.
it is the cornerstone of my team. It's like I mean, Quark Drive, really good ability. If you can run a terrain extender, you turn into those threats. They have 6-7 turns of just going crazy. Um, Unburdened Hitmonlee can do some fun stuff with Electric Seed, with like Bulk Up or like Under Reversal or something like that. And then another little synergy that I did think of was Blastoise with Terrain Pulse. Because sometimes
Ooh.
waters are like the biggest thing that can stop Mega Blastoise. But if you have a base 90 power Mega Launcher boosted electric move,
Bye bye.
it's yeah, it's Blastoise is going to be able to get through those mons.
Ah, this team is spicy. I didn't
I
even think about the
really
synergy
liked
with
it.
Blastoise. Oh man.
I really, really like this team that I drafted. There's a lot of other stuff that I thought. It's very fast as well with all the future mons. Unburdened Hitmonlee, Coco, Excalibur after a DD too, and I can see even set webs with Vikavolt. So
Ooh.
good luck outspeeding this team.
Yeah.
And then it also is going to outspeed you and then hit you like a truck, like Excalibur, Iron Moth, Iron Leaves, Iron Jugulus, Mega Blastoise, Vikavolt, all hit crazy hard. So pivoting around this team, as I played my week 1, and in my week 1, my opponent had a very hard time switching into everything. Like they just couldn't prep for everything.
Good
And
luck,
then there's some
everyone.
things that slip through the cracks and they just die. My hazard room removal is also really good with triple spin from Iron Treads, Megastoise, and Hitmonlee. So good luck setting up hazards on me too,
I didn't know
which makes
Hitmonlee
it
got spin. That's dope.
Hitmonlee does get spin. I don't think I'm gonna run it much because if I bring Hitmonlee, it's gonna be like Unburdened Sweeper. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess in niche scenarios, but you don't really need more than Iron Treads, Mega Blastoise.
What
Those
does
two together,
Unburden bring his speed up to?
it doubles it. So it's probably like
Ooh.
580
That would
or
make
something.
it 174.
Base 174
It's
speed.
base
Yep.
87, so times
Yeah.
2, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
174 is stupid.
Yeah. So that's. I think it's actually more than that if you calculate it with. I don't think that's quite the. Is that the conversion? I'm not aware.
multiplied 87 by 2. You tell me.
Okay.
You said it multiplied it by 2. So.
Oh, it multiplies the stat, not the base stat.
Oh, I
So
got
let me
you.
do max Jolly. I hit 600 speed, which outspeeds max speed
Oh,
Regieleki.
oh.
So
So
nothing outspeeds it.
it's some fucking Rock Lee shit.
Yeah.
The
So
weights
that's
are
really
off.
nice.
If
Hmm.
you don't nickname it Rock Lee, I'm gonna be a little disappointed in you.
I don't think that's my nickname theme here. I don't remember what my theme was. I'm
You went with
forgetting
the
it off the
theme.
top of my
Okay.
head.
All right. All right. I
But
do like a theme.
yeah, I'm a big fan of nickname themes. Something else I want to bring up is the pivoting on this team. Basic, most of my mons that don't want to be in for super long can pivot. So like Coco, Treads, even Jugulus, Blastoise, Vikavolt, all of the mons that can be defensive or like would be like pivots I can use, all have like U-turn or flip turn or volt switch or something like that to bring in the monsters like Iron Moth and Excalibur and Iron Leaves and stuff like that. So even if you do get like the call right, I could just click U-turn and then go into something else that kills you.
I know you don't want to be too biased, so I'm gonna ask you the tough question: how do you beat
Okay.
this team?
How do you beat it? A good way of doing that, I would say, is to just out offense it. I don't see how else you
Hit
can.
harder.
Maybe, yeah, just hit harder, hit faster.
Trick
I
room?
really don't know. I mean, I can go over some of the weaknesses I figured. Because I don't have the best defensive synergy, and there are some types that I do struggle with pretty heavily. Like rock, ice, fire, ghost.
Yeah.
Those four especially are pretty bad. And then even some like more niche ones like Fairy if Iron Moth terastallizes out, or Flying if like Iron Treads or Coco are chipped and stuff like that. Some of those types could give me a problem. And my hazard setting is really bad. So if you can like just barely squeak by if I can't get my rocks up, or don't, because I'm not gonna bring Quilled in like
Yeah.
ever. I brought it. I just drafted it just in
Get your
case that one
mascot.
matchup where spikes are just like really good or something. And then Iron Moth almost never runs T spikes, so it's really just Iron Tread Stealth Rock.
Mm.
That's the biggest weakness of this team in my opinion, is my hazard setting.
So
So like that,
if they can stop your setup, that might be
yeah,
an angle.
that's definitely an angle. Or if they
Terrain
set a different
removal.
terrain, or
Yeah.
yeah, get rid of terrain, something like that. And then if Coco dies early, since my team, I wouldn't say it relies on electric terrain. It's just my game plans are gonna rely on electric terrain, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If Coco dies early, my team could just crumble, and then
Unfortunate.
then I start getting outsped by Scarfers and stuff like that. So
The cracks start to show. Well, there you
the
have it,
cracks start to
folks.
show.
How to beat this spicy team.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'm not gonna
the
lie, I ranked my team really highly. I put it second.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you on that. Just on paper, it's kind of disgusting, and
I'm
I'm a
very
little biased towards the Mega Blastoise. I think he's probably the best. Mega Scissor is probably the best Mega, but I really like Mega Scissor.
Mega Scissor's pretty good. We'll get to that team
We
soon. I have some thoughts
certainly
about
will.
that one.
And as we say, getting to other teams, we are going to move on to Annie Bunny's Brooklyn Blastoises with a Blastoise segue.
Gotcha. So what
Oh,
are
the
your
Landy
thoughts when you
T.
look at this team? What
What
do you
are
think?
my thoughts? My thoughts are always very biased. I hate how awful Pokemon Go got, so I'm never gonna like Melmetal.
Fair
Um,
enough.
there's some cool niche uses for Melmetal. I love its ability. What the fuck's that called again? Yeah, Iron Fist. I think
Iron
that's
Fist
kind
is
of unique. It's kind of fun. Um, Slowking Galar over Slowbro Galar.
Looking Galar is much better than Slowbro Galar.
Is he?
It's noticeably better. I think it's 6 point difference on the draft board. Where
Uh,
because Slowking, it just has better like stat spread. Also has you pivoting with chili reception and that kind of stuff. It's just overall better. In a lot of matchups, they can just refuse to die.
is this like a sleeper sand team? Weirdly.
I don't believe so. No, because there's not a sand setter, and the only thing that actually benefits from Sand is Landorus Sand Force, where it just runs Sheer Force more reliably and
Yeah.
just better anyway.
Outside of that, though, I think Infernape's cool, and I think Mega Ampharos has the best hair in the game.
I love Mega Ampharos. I used Mega Ampharos once, and I absolutely loved it. Even though my season didn't go super great, the mon is super fun to use. I always love when I see it because it's usually not taken because it's not seen as super great. But I'm a
But it's
big fan.
majestic as fuck.
It is majestic. I agree. Um,
I like Flapple better than Appleton too.
um, they do very different things. Appleton's definitely more of like a tank, which Terra Appleton with Thick Vat could be interesting if you do like Terra
Ooh,
Steel or
yeah.
Terra. I don't know what else is weak to fire. It's kind of really just Terra Steel, which makes Thick Vat better.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see it. I could see it coming. I don't know why you would ever tear that over Landorus, but
Yeah,
I guess there
yeah. I
would
think
be niche matchups where you do that.
I think the only reason it's listed is because it adds up neatly to 25.
Yeah. I mean, you can't tear a Mega Ampharos.
Yeah,
So if you could, I would, but you
that'd be
can't.
pretty dope.
So yeah. So some things I do want to say about the team is the offense is really good. Lander as Smell Metal, Weavile, Infernite, Mega Ampharos make up for a really scary offensive like quintet, I guess.
And
And then even
Metal's a thick boy.
Mel Metal is a thick boy, and he hits like a truck. Double Iron
It's
Bash is a move. It is a move of all time. And then you also have really good switches into like water types and fire types that love switching into Melmetal in Rotom Wash and Mega Ampharos with like the double electric combo. And it's not a problem having a double electric here because they don't share any weaknesses
mm-hmm.
since Rotom is immune to ground and Ampharos resist grass. So they actually work really well together.
Hmm.
And like I said before, Terra Landorus is really, really good. Landorus is already good. It's been falling out of favor a little bit recently, but with Terra, it can hit the check, like the one check that exists per team, or just set up on your face, which just lets it run crazy. And something else, one last thing I did want to say about this team is that with Slowking Galar and Melmetal and Mega Ampharos, there's a really scary Trick Room mode if they wanted to run
Ooh.
Trick Room. So you click Trick Room with Slowking, and then click Killer Reception, and then Melmetal or Mega Ampharos can just hit stuff for 3 turns. And you really don't want those guys to outspeed you because they have crazy offensive stats.
Oh, that's
165
terrifying.
and 143, you do not want those hitting you for free.
Oh damn, I like that. I hope that's what they run.
I'm a big fan of like Trick Room modes. I did try to run a full Trick Room team once, and it was
I,
awful, so
I've
I
I've
would not
done
advise
that.
that. But Trick Room modes are always really nice, and I do like those with like Slow Kings or Slow Bros and stuff like that. Some other things that aren't so great about the team that I noticed is pretty predictable what mons are going to be coming. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, it's going to be top 6, and then if it's not, it's 5 of the top 6, and then 1 of the bottom 5.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, probably Mega Ampharos. I don't really see a world where Carbink ever comes, where Thwacky ever comes. Appleton maybe might come with Thick Fat Terra shenanigans, and Pyukumuku I guess might. I guess we do have P
I
McGee in
think
the div, so
that was just a meme pick
Ma
for Larry.
yeah,
I think.
the mascot pick.
Yeah,
But Larry, I'm not a fan of Larry. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't
it's a
really
good
think it does anything.
it's a good card in the TCG.
Is it? I'm not adversed in TCG.
Yeah, you can get a free draw out of it.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it's like the ability's called like punt your Piku Muku or whatever. It's really the art's
Really?
hilarious. Yeah, just literally like punt that bad boy and get another card. It's
That's really
so
funny.
funny, but it's not bad because there's a lot of water. There's a lot of synergy around water and drawing right now, so it's not awful in those
Gotcha.
decks.
Gotcha. Some other things I want to point out is there's a speed gap between Rotom Wash and Mega Ampharos on mons that are actually realistically coming to games, which is pretty bad. There are a lot of mons in there that you do not want to be able to run Adamant for free, and all of them are, which will be a problem. The hazards aren't great, because Landorus, Infernape, and Carbink are the rockers, and Infernape and Landorus do not want to run rocks, and Carbink never comes. So that's not going to be great. Same thing for spikes, only spikers Carbink never come into games. And G King with T spikes, it can run it, but it really wants other moves. So I really don't see a world where they're gonna get up more than rocks and in half their games. So that might be an issue with chipping stuff down to get in range.
Well, I guess if you have anything else to say about the Brooklyn Blastoises, aka Rock and Get Rolled, say it now. And if not, we're moving on to the second LA team.
Um, Not really. There's just a few type matchups that aren't great, but they're serviceable. So other than that, not too bad.
All right, and I'm looking forward to the battle for LA as we move on to the LA Nidokings. Also, a fantastic logo. I really should have saved it to bring it on here. It's just a shittily drawn Nidoking in paint by
That one's
Black
really funny.
117. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So the team is Zamazenta Crowned, Zapdos, Tinglu, Terralarias, Aerodactyl Mega, Blastoise, Florges, Terra de Dunsparce, Vileplume, and Terra Floatzel. So the first thing that really stepped out to me about this team is that this team is fat. It is
Mm-hmm.
super fat. You got Zamacrown, Zapdos, Tinglu, Latias, Blastoise, Florges, I mean, every mon on this team outside of Mega Aerodactyl and Floatzel is fat. So, like,
Chonky.
yeah, it is chonky. It's gonna be hard to break through unless you have some really hard hitters that can and you predict correctly. So that's a really good boon of this team, in my opinion. Um, it also, but like even with being really bulky, it has good fast options with Mega Aerodactyl, Zama, and Latias, all being 110 or above. 3 months above 110 on a fat team, it's gonna be rough to deal with, especially with Terra Latias. Terra Latias is fat and hits like a truck and can sweep you in 5 seconds. That thing is crazy. As we saw in week 1, it got all 6 kills, I think,
Oh.
because it just Terra poisoned, couldn't get toxic, can't get EQ, and then psychics were doing like 2 damage each. So it went nuts in
That's
week 1.
incredible. I gotta go watch that.
Yeah, I would recommend watching that game. Actually, no, I think it got killed at the last mon. I think
Hey,
it died
that's a
the
good
last
run.
mon, but it got 5 kills,
Then when you got
which is
other
pretty good.
like Mega Aerodactyl is also an offensive terror. Like
Yes, it is.
the few times I've played against it, I've been swept by it. Wasn't great.
I'm a big fan of Mega Aerodactyl. I've drafted it probably 5 times at this point. Big fan. The speed stat is incredible. Means you can usually run Adamant or some bulk, whichever one you want. And that can help you like DD Roost sweep, or just like Hone Claws 3 attacks, that kind of stuff. Really good mon.
And its bulk isn't terrible at
No, it
85
really
and
isn't.
95. It's definitely, yeah, like you said, you can definitely work with it. It can
Some of
definitely
the
take a hit if you need it to.
Yeah, it
A
can.
hit, but
A hit. That's all it's gonna get.
mm-hmm.
But there's also some
That's all
mons
you
that you
need.
can just set up on too, which can be nice if they're like too fat and like too passive and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And they do have plenty to swap into.
Oh yeah, I mean, really good pivoting as well on the fat mons. Like you got flip turn Blastoise, baton pass Florges, U-turn Zapdos, stuff like that. So pretty like not like a ton of options, but enough, right? Especially
Mm-hmm.
because those three are probably going to come to a lot of games. It also has really good setup options besides just Latias. Like, you got Calm Mind on Latias into Dunsparce, you got Smash Toys, you got Aerodactyl, as we talked about, and even, like, Iron Defense Body Press Sama, or Howl, even. All of them can be really scary late game, because, like, you're fat with hazards from Tinglu can wear them down, stuff like that. It can be really hard to handle late game, especially if Florges is just passing wishes around to Tinglu and Zama. Good luck.
Oh, that's dirty.
Yeah. I really do like this team the more that I look at it. So very well done
Does
on
that
that
does
end.
that change the rank for them then?
Um, I'll have to go down to my ranking at the bottom. But there are just because I've been saying all these good things doesn't mean that bad things don't exist, because they definitely do. Um, Nothing below Zapdos at base 100 really runs speed outside of Smash Toys. So basically everything below base 100 can run Adamant, Modest, that kind of stuff, which is going to help people be able to break through the bulk. Which, like, it might not tip them over the edge, but it also might in some matchups, so it could get through the bulk that way. The breaking power of this team is pretty low. every mon really needs like a setup move to really be hitting super hard, unless you go like Specs Latias or something, which with Terra you don't really want to do that. You usually want to be running like Calm Mind or does it get Cosmic Power? No, but Calm Mind sets usually. And then also two more little things. The only fairy resist outside of like Terra Steel or Poison Latias, which are very good, mind you, is Vileplume, which won't be coming very
Yeah,
often.
Vileplume ain't coming out to play.
No, and also it is weak to Psychic and Fire, which basically every fairy has one of those moves.
Just about every
So not
Mon has one of those moves.
basically, yeah. And then also this team doesn't have a knockoff user, so
Mm.
since it can't break super hard and it doesn't have knockoff, it could struggle with breaking down other teams' bulk as well. So if it's like a bulk on bulk matchup, this team might be in a bit of a pickle.
Well, there you have it for the LA Nido Kings. Yeah, again, I like it as a team on paper. Mega Aerodactyl always terrifies me, and it looks fucking rad.
It does. It
It
does look pretty cool.
might be that and Mega Charizard X. I think are probably in contention for like the coolest Mega just by looks. Obviously, the best looking one is Mega Ampharos, but
Maybe not the coolest.
yeah, for sure. And with that, we will move on to P. McGee's Po Town Fukumukus. I said it right. Let's go.
I really like that name. I think it's really funny, and the logo is really good too.
Oh, the logo's fantastic. It's just Fukumuku giving the middle finger.
Given the
Not,
bird.
yeah, can't go wrong there.
All right. So Cheats McGee's team
Cheats
is
McGee.
Cheats. I mean, I gotta throw it in there somewhere.
He's playing
Someone has
Mega
to.
Beedrill, so he's still living up to the name.
So he's got Palafin, Corviknight, Rotom Heat, Hydreigon,
Just for all
Beedrill
my
Mega,
Tinkaton
Screamtail.
fans out there, fuck Corviknight. Anyway, sorry to stop you off
No, you're
there.
good. Mega Beedrill, Screamtail, Terra Armarouge, Dugtrio, Decidueye Hisui, and Smeargle, and Terra Hydreigon if I didn't say that. So pretty balanced team. I know P. McGee likes pivot balance, and this team is pivot balance. So I think it goes right into his wheelhouse, and he should be able to pilot it really well. But outside of that, it has really good defensive synergy. Corviknight, Rotom Heat, and Screamtail, like those three, are pretty much all you need defensively. They can all pivot between each other. Screamtail can pass wishes to Rotom Heat. Corviknight can roost, that kind of stuff. So that trio is going to be pretty hard to break through. And going off of that, as like the pivoting I was talking about, everything on this team except for Dugtrio and Armarouge, I believe, can pivot, which is going to be really difficult for opponents to, one, predict and get the right mon in at the right time, and two, to be able to stop the offensive onslaught from stuff like Hydreigon and Beedrill and Palafin.
I mean, yeah, that was my like initial glance at this one by my like really untrained Pokemon eyes. Is if you want to run Palafin, you need a team that moves around quick,
Yes,
and just with literally a whole team of pivot, Palafin is swimming in a sea of dreams. Can't
yeah,
really look for a better team for Zero to Hero to pop off.
yeah. P. McGee should be able to get Palafin in very early, get it out, and then get it back in just as fast. Um, Something else I want to point out, or a few more things. I really like the speed tiers on this team. They're really solid. There's not really a gap at all, really,
Yeah,
which
honestly,
is
it's like
really nice.
perfectly covered.
Yeah. Um, it also has the team has really good cleaning with stuff like Palafin and Mega Beedrill. And I really want to point out the synergy. I love the Dugtrio draft here. Usually I do not like Dugtrio, but Dugtrio plus Mega Beedrill, Dugtrio gets rid of the fires and the steals and the poisons that Beedrill really struggles with. So I love the Dugtrio take here from P. McGee.
That was gonna be my question. I was trying to figure out what that does, but that
It
makes a whole lot
it
of sense.
synergizes with Mega Beedrill. And originally he also had Superior before he did some transactions, which it also synergizes really well. Superior, because it hits basically every type except for flying that Superior can't deal with.
Huh.
And Bug, I guess. But really, really good synergy there. And then the Terra users, Hydreigon and Armor Rouge, both are really scary. So having to like prep for if they both show up on team preview,
Yeah, what do
yeah,
you
that's
do?
gonna be a bit of a yikes. Armor Rouge loves Terra Grass to get rid of like the water and ground weaknesses and get like higher power energy ball. And Hydreigon likes Terra Poison. I mean, Hydreigon can run basically anything. It's an amazing Pokemon, one of my favorites.
That dragon's cracked.
It is really good. And you can even run like DD sets with like I think it gets Terra Blast, like DD Terra Blast, or Earthquake, Crunch, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it could even be a little bit more niche that way.
Do you imagine
But
if it was faster?
if Hydreigon was like 103 speed instead of 97, it would be bonkers in my opinion. I love that. I would love that so much. It could get like the jump on Garchomp. Ooh.
Yikes.
I love Garchomp. It's one of my favorite Pokemon, but Hydreigon has always done better for me in drafts, so I have a soft spot for it.
There you go.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this team. Like especially with the hazards, because Dugtrio I guess can run rocks, but that's not what you want it to be doing. Hydreigon should not be running rocks, which means Screamtail is going to be forced into them basically every week. And then the only other hazards you have is Toxic Spikes on Mega Beedrill, which don't click that.
Yeah,
You're
that
wasting
ain't
your time.
happening. Yep.
You're wasting your Mega Beedrill if you click Toxic Spikes. So that's not great. And also strong rock types could be a problem because your resists are Dugtrio and Decidueye Hisui, which like Hisui and Decidueye is fine, but it's not going to be taking them all day, and Dugtrio just folds to any hit. So rock types could be a problem. And then one last thing is if Hydreigon Terra's out of dark, ghost types just feast on this team because then the only resist is Smeargle, which
Yeah.
should not be coming to games. That mod is not good.
Not anymore. It used to be.
I mean, it was good in VGC, right? Because like Dark Void
Yeah,
shenanigans,
yeah. Well,
my
that's
Darkrai got screwed.
VGC's double battle though, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Smeargle was good in like Gen 4.
I was like 5 years old. I don't really.
Oh, don't tell me
I don't-
that. Don't tell me that. We don't need to talk about that. We can go on to my favorite thing about this team. I love Final Gambit, and I really hope he runs it on Dugtrio.
Ooh.
As
See, the
as
problem
a
with that is Dugtrio has 35 base HP.
Yep. As someone who is running an all explosion team in Little Cup right now, I gotta shout it out and respect it.
Are you really?
I am. Go watch my replay.
That is incredible. I need to watch that replay. Okay, I'm gonna remind me to do that after we're done with this.
I don't
That is
not
awesome.
make meme. I know I'm bad, so I just make like a meme themed team and I try and make it work. And honestly, a full explosion team, I might be able to make it work. It's kind of funny how almost good it was.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that. That'll be funny. Any last thoughts on this team?
Yeah, does Hisui Decidueye do anything, or is that just
I mean, I haven't really seen it used much. I don't think it's great, but its signature move is like high crit rate, 50% flinch, and can drop defense, I think. So it's a
Okay.
stupid signature move, but it's slow, so it usually doesn't be able to like use it very well.
That's a shame. Well, that was what I had about them. Then we'll move
All
on
right.
to a city that historically has no fans for their sports teams, the Miami Delphox, hosted by Fac Luigi.
Gotcha. So
Oh,
this
and
team, I'm just
Namorous,
gonna
holy shit. Sorry.
yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say it. This team was my number one in my power rankings, ahead of my own team.
This team's ridiculous.
This team is crazy good. So it's Dragapult, Terra King Gambit, Enamorous, Cinderace, Glamora, Terra Hisui and Lilligant, Gastrodon, Uxie, and Mega Audino. So it's just really, really well-rounded. That was one of the biggest things I saw about this team is how well-rounded it is. I absolutely love teams where like most Pokemon can come to every game. And with this, would be your worst mon being Mega Audino? You can do that.
I mean, yeah,
Huge-
everyone and their
huge fan of
mom is
that.
setting hazards.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like U-turn synergy.
It's like, and on top of that, you can U-turn into like both your Terra users, which are absolutely terrifying. Terra King Gambit is a beast. Um, it can just go like Terra Dark to clean you late game with Supreme Overlord, Sucker Punch, Sword Stance. Can go like Terra Fairy to get past some checks. Terra Fire to block Will-O-Wisp. It's a monster. And then Histilian Lilligant with Victory Dance. If you give it a free turn and you predict the Terra type incorrectly, you just lose the game. Like, it's as simple as that. So that is going to be a big issue for opposing teams to prep against. I really hope I do not play this team. I don't remember if I do or not looking at the schedule, but I hope I dodge it.
I mean, that's
then you got
the
Hazards.
biggest compliment you can get in any game is
yeah. I do not
I don't want to play this team.
The hazard setting is incredible. You got Stealth Rock setters, Glamorna, Gastrodon, Yuxi that are going to be able to do it every game. Glamorna sets Toxic Spikes super easily with its ability. You got spikes from Gastrodon and Glamorna. Like, hazards will be going up, which makes it even harder to switch into stuff like Dragapult, Enamorus, Cinderace, Lilligant, King Gambit. It just makes cleaning so easy with this team, because it's also really fast. With Dragapult, Cinderace, Enamorus, Lilligant all above base 100, and they all hit like a train. Like, I don't know why I haven't thought of this team before. Like, this team is just crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna save this one.
Yeah, just put it in the back of your mind and be like,
Oh.
next time you do a draft, just try and copy this completely.
Absolutely. Because,
so,
like, separated a little bit, like, obviously, like, Dragonpult and King Gambit are gonna get drafted pretty easily, but, like, outside of that, maybe, like, Glimmera looks pretty cool and gets a lot of use right now.
I will say, Dragapult, King Gambit, Enamorus, and Glamorra are probably going to be the 4 hardest mons to get.
Yeah.
But
I think Enamorus would be... I don't know how he pulled off drafting all these. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
mean,
how
I didn't draft
went
him.
round 3.
I didn't draft it because I was running my funny electric terrain team.
Yeah,
but
you had a plan in mind.
But I don't know. This team is just crazy.
Yeah, good luck everybody else.
Mostly crazy. There are a few things that I did notice that are not awesome. So the pivoting is all mostly on fast mons. You got like Dragapult, Enamorus, Cinderace, and Yuxi all can U-turn, but they're all fast. So that might be, it could be, if you choose the wrong thing, you turning into something, you could be punished for that.
Gotta do your math for the U-turns.
If King Gambit Terras into an Ice, Weak, or Neutral type, it can be some problems with Ice types, because then you have, like, Cinderace, and that's it.
Yeah.
And actually, it's the same with Psychic, because if you Terra to a Psychic, like, Weak or Neutral type, then your only Psychic resist is Yuxi. So those could be like I'm nitpicking at this point, but like
yeah, just find something to like
this team is
make it
really
seem like
good.
It's not going to be a shit show to play against this team.
Yeah, I would be surprised if this team. I would be very surprised if this team did not make playoffs. Very, very, very surprised.
Yeah, short of them like having like a stroke and changing things up. I'm kind of with you on that one, and I'm dumb when it comes to Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the schedule right now just to make sure I don't play them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna... Please, please, please. I do not. Let's go.
Hey!
Love to see it.
Big W.
That just means I'll play him in finals or something.
Yeah.
So
run into him in the playoffs and just get steamrolled. It's like, well,
yeah,
had a good run. I lost to the team that's gonna win.
Lost to the team that's gonna win. Yeah. So that's all I really gotta say about it. Fact,
Yeah.
Luigi, you did an amazing job with this team.
The only weakness this team has is they have no fans. Off to another city that doesn't have a lot of sports fans, St. Louis. The St. Louis Shroomish, brought to us by Scroll. Oh, Helix Fossil.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
So fellow
immediately out
leader.
of the gate, Tinkaton Believer, let's fucking go.
So funny thing about this team was drafted completely randomly.
What?
He put in like random number generator on what
Oh,
Pokemon to
that's
draft.
right. Oh my gosh, I totally
this
forgot.
team is what he got, which actually for
This
a random
team isn't horrible.
is really good. Like for a
Yeah.
random team, this team is actually really good. It's not in my bottom 3. This
There's a
this team
lot of
is
speed.
this team is 10th in my power rankings, being completely random. So I don't know if that what that says about the bottom four here, but no, all jokes aside, it is very fast. It's very fast mods. It's got like what 7 Pokemon above base 90? No, 6. But like that's a lot. So that's really nice. And the offense just in general on this team, like even outside of the speed, is crazy. Mega Gallade, Mouscarada, Enamorous Therian, Kyurem, and Chandelure. Those things all hit like a truck. So good luck switching into those. And on top of that, like Kyurem can set up and win, Enamorous can set up and win, both being Terra Pokemon. Yikes. I do not like the offense on the team is just crazy good.
Here's a question for somebody that's never played them or played against them. What does Silvally do?
So Valley has the gimmick of being like Arceus, to where it can be any type you want it to be,
Okay.
and then its signature move is a base 120 power attack of that type that it is.
Oh, so it's kind of a
So,
roguemon. Okay.
so it can fill basically any hole you need it to on a team, which is actually really good for this team
Yeah,
because
it's
there are
perfect
a
for this
few
team,
holes.
actually.
There are a few holes, but it can also pivot with like parting shot or U-turn. It has like Thunder Wave, so it can has Sword Stance, Flame Charge if you want to be funky, that kind of stuff. So it's just really neat. It's a neat mod. I like it a lot. And this team has like some like away from the offense, some pretty good defensive glue pieces. Slowbro especially is like a patented draft league glue piece for like offensive teams that just want something to switch into, click teleport, and then go back onto the heavy hitters. So I really like the Slowbro pick here. And then Tinkaton can like reliably set rocks, has Encore, Thunder Wave to slow things down as well. So the offense, like I said before on this team, really, really good. But on the flip side of that, the defense is pretty bad. You really got like Slowbro, Tinkaton, like Enamorous, I guess kind of can be defensive with like Terra or something like that. Silvally too.
Like
But
half
like
the
the
team you're
synergy,
bringing is taking a rock to the face and falling.
yeah. I mean, yeah, your rock resist, I mean, they're fine, but like Edgequake is a problem. And ground types just in general. Your ground resists are Meowscarada and Enamorous. And if Enamorous Terra's out of flying type to a ground like weak type, like Poison, it loves doing Terra Poison or Steel. Fire even too. Ground types are gonna go crazy against this team. The
So
only
it's
flying resist is Tinkaton. So like if Tinkaton gets worn down, that could be a problem against some good flying types like Tornadus.
hey, fuck birds.
True. Birds
Why
aren't
why
real.
doesn't
They're
Tinkaton learn
drones,
rock
so
throw? That's like the biggest oversight I've ever seen in my life.
it's
It
yeah.
literally throws rocks at birds and it can't learn a rock move.
Yeah, I
Stupid.
think it would. It wouldn't even benefit that much. I don't think I'd
No,
ever run
it'd
a
just
rock
be
move on
funny to
Tinkaton.
like
It'd just
knock it
be
at Corviknight.
yeah, just use rock throw against. If Tinkaton uses rock throw against Corviknight, it's an Oko move.
It's a one hit KO.
um, one last thing I do want to say about like the defensive stuff is ghosts. Not a great ghost matchup either because it might force a lot of Sovali normals, which like is fine, but you want to use Sovali you might want to use Savali in multiple ways for a matchup, so if you're kind of forced into Savali normal, it could be a problem.
How do you change its type?
I think it's an item,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. It's like a let me just look real quick. Savali. Yeah, so it holds a different kind of memory, is what it does. It's like Arceus with the plates, but it's like a disc.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird Porygon kind of situation.
Kinda. But it was like made to be like Arceus for like the Aether Foundation. And they just didn't
Is that
do it
black
right.
and white?
No, it's Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon. Okay, that's why I don't know it then, because I didn't finish Sun and Moon.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like the no gym thing.
Oh, gotcha. They're definitely not for everybody. I enjoyed them a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, like, the story was cool. I think it's got some of my favorite mons in it. Alolan Exeggutor and Alolan Raichu are like top tier Pokemon. They're just cool.
Those guys are pretty good. Yeah, I like them.
Anywho, now that we're like sidetracking wildly, any final words?
No. Actually, no. Yes, I do have one.
One. Is it
Keep Slowbro alive, and you will have a good time. That's all I'm gonna say.
keep the glue in between the wood that is
Hmm.
your attacking mons.
Yep.
There you have it. Hope Helix watches this. If not, good luck. And with
He'll
that,
figure it out.
we move on to the Castelia Shifus, and they don't even have that mon on their team. Destiny, what are you doing?
I think both of them got taken like really
Okay.
early.
I mean, Golden Go's
So
a sick mon, so whatever.
I think that was actually a recent addition. They did. Destiny was one of the coaches that did transactions after week 1, which I think overall benefited the team. So good
I
on you for doing that.
I will always love Buzzwole on a team.
I love
It's
Buzzwole.
something like, even if you don't use it, you're forcing the other team to think about it, because if they don't, and you do bring it, Buzzwole is just gonna punch a hole through their team, and you're gonna have the
Hmm.
easiest match ever.
Yeah, I'm a big Buzzwole fan. It's really good on both offense and defense with its stat spread. Just keep it away from special moves. It's like kind of like
Yeah.
physical blitzy almost.
And if you can use set up Beast Boost, have
Mhm.
have at it.
Yeah.
GG.
Sometimes it can feel like that, yeah, for sure. Like even like like straight aerial aces sometimes just do like 40%, and you're just
It's
like
nuts.
awesome.
And he
um,
gets Roost if you want to like be cheeky that way.
yeah. So the rest of the team is Chenpao, Necrozma, Terra Haxorus, Goldango, Porygon 2, Tentacruel, Terra Jolteon, Mudsdale, and Terra Oricorio along with that Buzzwole.
I love Terra Jolteon.
Terra Jolteon is kind of like a mini Terra Regieleki,
Yep.
and that's pretty neat. And like with Calm Mind and stuff, it can be pretty scary.
Fast, hit hard.
Mhm.
Especially if they don't
Um.
have like some sort of special wall to deal with it.
Mhm. Yeah. And like if you do, if it's not a ground type, I mean even if it's ground type, you Terra Ice, Terra Blast, but like
Mm-hmm.
you can just always Volt Switch out too, and then
Yeah.
go into like Chien Pao or Haxorus or Buzzwole and just kill it, right?
Yeah. It's
So
like,
that's
I don't like, I almost feel like Jolteon should be worth more points for that reason. I think it's a really really
I think
solid low tier mon.
5 is like I would personally put it at 6,
Yeah.
6 or 7. I think 5 is a little low, but if it's any like without Terra, it's like 3. It's garbage without Terra.
Yeah, it needs Terra.
So
Don't bring it.
I mean,
I
I feel
did
like
bring
5
a whole
points is like
EV
a
team
nice,
one
it's a nice
season.
middle ground. You did, or
Yeah.
you want to?
No, I did.
How'd it go?
I got a couple wins out of it. I think I won 2 or 3.
Nice.
Jolteon was the bread and butter, though.
Really?
Terra Jolteon. Yeah.
Gotcha. So speaking of the offense, that's like the biggest thing about this team that I really like. You got like Chen Pao, Necrozma can set up and sweep. You got Goldengo with Nasty Plot, can run choice specs. Terra Haxorus is pretty scary with DD or those like choice band first impression stuff like that. Jolteon, as we said, Buzzwole can be hit hard. Mudsdale even
Mm-hmm.
has a base 125 attack stat. You don't want to be switching to those earthquakes. And then Terra Oricorio is scary because at first you have to predict which one it's going to be, so it can't set up on you without terastallizing. And then if you pick the right form, it can just terastallize anyway, and then it can just quiver dance up on you. So for 4 points, really good Terra user. Big fan of Terra Oricorio.
Yeah, I like the tough to plan for versatility this team has.
Yeah, it can be, if you make one wrong move against this team, something can sweep you very quickly. Whether that be Necrozma, Haxorus, Goldango, Oricorio, Jolteon. Just, if you make a wrong move, you can be punished for it really hard.
That being said, I see that you ranked this team last. So what
I
what
did
brought you
rank
to
this
that
team last.
decision?
So outside of the offense, well, first off, I do want to say, all the teams are good, at least. So, someone had to be last. Unfortunately, this team
I mean,
was
you're
just
saying
that
it's
team for me.
good, but you ranked a random team above it, so there had to be something that really.
Oh, I mean, the
like,
random
made you
team, he got
cringe.
pretty lucky
Yeah,
with
the
that team.
random
That team's
teams are
really good. But there are some really big holes with this team that I saw. First off, no fairy. That can be an
Yeah.
issue, which makes dragon types pretty hard because if Goldango gets down, or most dragon types learn Earthquake or like Fire Blast or something, so that can be a problem. Then you got the Terra users are fine, and I really like them. It's just like usually you want a top tier Terra user, and when your best Terra user is Haxorus, that's kind of underwhelming, I would say. Then there's a 130 to a 100 speed gap between Jolteon and Tentacruel. You don't
Yeah.
you don't want that. Then you got mons like Sneasler and what are some other ones in there? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but that's not a gap you want. Especially when Tentacruel doesn't run speed all the time.
Bulky boy.
Um, yeah. And also the hazard removal falls completely on Tentacruel because Oricorio never wants to run Defog, ever. You always want it to be like a Quiver Dance sweeper, especially with Terra. And Tentacruel doesn't want to come to every game. So I could see many a game where Tentacruel and Oricorio don't come, and then if you don't run like 6 boots, you're going to be taking a lot of hazard damage.
6 boots. Holy shit.
um, I have run 6 boots before, I will say.
Desperate times.
The pivoting as well isn't great. It kind of just comes down to it's like Porygon is a really good pivot, I will say. And then other than that, it's Jolteon and Oricorio. And like I said it before, Oricorio wants to run Quiver Dance sets, not U-turn sets.
And Jolteon ain't
So
taking a hit too well.
and Jolteon can't take a hit and just fails if there's a ground type.
Glass cannon.
So it really is just Porygon. So if Porygon dies, this team can crumple very, very quickly. And then the last thing, there are some other type matchups that aren't great for it. Fire, water. If Haxorus doesn't really be want to be switching into stuff. If Tentacruel doesn't come, that kind of stuff. Those types can be a bit of an issue as well. So I really like the offense of this team. It's just a little bit of the more finicky things aren't quite right.
And I just noted how attack heavy it is. Just Will-O-Wisp on everything.
Yeah. You got like Necrozma and Goldango. I mean, Jolteon. I mean, the special offense isn't bad. It's just not immediate. You usually need some setup.
Yeah. Your like quick punch isn't gonna.
Yeah. Whereas like offense, physical offense, you got like Chien-Pao, Haxorus, Buzzwole, all can just smack you in the face.
Mm-hmm. Literally for Buzzwole.
Yeah. The choice band Buzzwole close combats do not feel nice,
No, they do not.
even for resists.
Well, Destiny, I like your team, so don't at me.
Sorry, I don't like it that much, Destiny.
And with that, we will move over to the Vancouver Vivillons. Vivillons? How the fuck do you say that Pokemon's
I've always
name?
said Vivian.
Vivian? Oh, I see what you're doing there with the double L.
That's
Vivian.
also like I think that's how French works. I don't know. I don't speak
Oh,
French.
it was from, yeah, X and Y. Okay.
Yeah. So this one is coached by Soul, and they have a Chiyu, Latios, Rillaboom, Terra Urshifu Rapid. So here's where one of the Urshifus went.
Mm-hmm.
Nidoking, Skarmory, Terra Rabombi, Knucklestack, Mega Manectric, and Samurott. So the first thing that sticks out to me when I look at this team is the offense. You got Chiyu, Latios, Rillaboom, Urshifu, Nidoking. Those 5 together, there is not a mon in the game that wants to take on 2 of those, let alone 5, right?
Oh,
Like
absolutely. The coverage is nuts.
the coverage is crazy. Like I faced this team week 1, and when I was prepping, I was like, thank God my team can just out offense this, because if I had to like be defensive and my team was like, this team destroys balance. Like,
And you like
good
you
good
look up
luck.
in the top corner of the like little chart thing, and it's just a bunch of one halves. Like,
Yeah, this is good luck. Um, but like being like, so offensive, the defensive synergy really isn't that bad either. So like, yeah, you probably don't want to be switching in Chiyu on like a close combat or something, but you can switch in Latios or Nidoking on a close combat every once in a while. So like the offensive mons can be used as like a quick defensive pivot, which can then threaten out the thing that's in. And then you got Skarmory as a backbone. Skarmory basically handles every physical threat that isn't a fire electric type. So Really good glue piece there. It also can set up spikes to have the offensive mons be even more scary. Stealth Rock 2 can roar out things that can try and like offense past the team. So really good pick for the Skarmory there. I really do like Skarmory here. And it also has webs with Rabombi. So then if you get webs up, keep webs up, and then you have to face a Chi-Yu, a Latios, or Shifu, like those 5 in webs. I like it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And the speed tiers as well are also really good, really well spaced. Got a really good high-end speed with both Rabombi and Mega Manectric, and then it doesn't get slow. The only slow mon on the team is Knucklestack, so you can like taunt stuff. You always taunt walls, get past them. Really, really like the offense of this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a scary looking team. They kind of cover each other very well. I really do like. I've never seen a full team be able to use taunt before. That's just kind of funny. Not that they would, but
Yeah,
not that they'd even
basically
bring all those
everything.
mons. But it's just like so much taunt presence is kind of really flexible. I guess you could say that this team's gonna leave a lot of the other coaches salty.
I'm a big Knucklestack fan.
Oh, I am
That
too.
that guy, I mean, pure rock, you wouldn't think it would be like super great, but Saltcure just rock. I mean, water and steel types are usually what you want to switch into rocks, and Saltcure is just annoying. And Necklastack is really bulky with EPLite, has recover, can set rocks. It's just annoying to get rid of sometimes. I'm a big fan of it. I honestly,
Wasn't he on the VGC World Championship team too?
I mean, I don't think Worlds has happened yet for VGC with
No, but
Necklastack.
wasn't he in the last one though? Or maybe I'm thinking of a
No,
regional one.
Necklastack's a Gen 9 one.
You're right. You're right. I was thinking of one of
So,
the regional ones. Still
oh,
though,
gotcha. Yeah, it's still really good. I honestly would have preferred it to be Terra over Rabombi, so then you can be even more annoying if you do like Terra Fairy or Terra Flying or Terra Ghost or something like that. I understand why they went Terra Rabombi because Rabombi can do Quiver Dance shenanigans,
mm-hmm.
but it really just doesn't hit hard enough, in my opinion, to do Quiver Dancing reliably.
But it's such a cute little bee.
It is a cute little bee. I do like Rabombi.
It's got a little scarf.
Um, yeah, he's got a little scarf. He's a cute guy. But um, aside from the scarf, or like not aside from the scarf, but like in opposition to the scarf, there are some bad things about the team.
No.
So no rapid spin is the first thing that stuck out to me. When you have like Skarmory and Rabombi and like toxic spikes from Nidoking, you really want a rapid spinner so you don't have to like defog away all the work you're doing. Um, you also have a ice type problem if because Samurot's never going to come to a game. That Pokemon is not good, and it's just worse than everything on this team by far. Chi-Yu and Urshifu Rapid don't really want to be switching in all the time. They can maybe once or twice, but then past that, it's going to be rough, especially if Urshifu doesn't Terra into water and Terra's into something that like ice hits neutrally or super effectively, then you're going to have an even bigger problem. Um, and then the pivoting could be a little bit better. You have like Rillaboom U-turn, which is fine, Urshifu Rapid U-turn, which is fine, Rabombi U-turn, fine. But all those pivots are pretty fast. So if you're going first with U-turn and stuff like that, and then you get the pivot wrong, it could put yourself in some trouble that way. And then, like I said with Samurott, that Pokemon's not good. I I don't see it ever coming to a game, so it feels like a wasted 3 points.
And just to go back to Urshifu real quick. Unpopular opinion, I think it's kind of a lame Pokemon, just in general. I think the
Really,
design's stupid. I get what they're going for, but like to center like a whole DLC around it is kind of dumb.
I do agree with that. But so I'm gonna take it you don't like Kung Fu Panda.
Nah, I've never seen it. I do like Jack Black. Nothing against him, but just didn't catch my eye.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. A whole DLC around it, kind of whatever.
Whereas like the freaking Crown Tundra DLC had so much in it.
Yeah, it did.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Not related to this at all.
What? You're telling me this isn't a talk about the Gen 8 DLC video?
I sidetrack so easily. It's not good.
That's all right.
And with nothing left to say about Vivian, I believe.
Yep, the Vancouver Vivians.
We move on to Coltrane's Idaho Ironheads.
Yep. So he's got Sneasler,
Tapu
Landorus
Lele,
Lariat,
my guy. Let's
Tapu Lele,
go.
Terra Tapu Lele. Pretty scary.
That's so scary. Oh my gosh.
And then you got
How would
Heatran, Hisuian Samurott, Vaporeon, Hisuian Zoroark, Rotomo with Terra. Interesting. Mega
what?
Absol, and
What?
Altaria.
Yeah, sorry. The Rotom. Like, what are you?
I was a bit perplexed about that too. So Rotomo with Terra, I know the reason is what other thing are the only other option they have is Altaria, and it's like it's probably better than Altaria to Terra, but like, is it really? I don't ever see Terra Rotomo happening, because Terra Tapu Lele is just a monster.
Oh, absolutely. Like late, if they don't have anything left that resists Psychic, just one hit everything.
Yeah, Terra Psychic or Terra Fairy, just Choice
Yeah.
Specs, Choice Scarf, you just clean. Terra Tapu Lele is a really, really strong Pokemon.
Psychic
Something
terrain is
that,
also stupid too.
yeah, then you can't
Cancels
even
priority, so that
priority it with
yeah.
Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch. Yeah, it's rough. But something I do want to say about the Terra is, even though Terra Tapu Lele is really scary, I will agree with you there. I think it might have been worth looking at Terra Sneasler or Terra Landorus, because
Some
Tapu
Landy
Lele
T goodness.
kind of just does it's the thing it already does, just slightly
Just
better
more.
with Terra. But whereas with Sneasler and Landorus can do, I think, a little bit more like sweeping potential with it. I guess Tapu Lele can go and run like Iron Defense, Calm Mind sets, but
At that
with
point,
like
you're
Terra
just
Water
hitting
or something,
Tapu Lele already hits so hard.
yeah, I feel like
What's
you're better off
what's
running just like
the by the
specs
time you're
anyway.
bringing it in to do that, it doesn't matter if it's Terran or not at all.
Yeah, so like Terra can help it break through a few checks. So I understand the Terra here. I just personally would have liked Terra Sneasler or Landorus because I've used both. They're both incredible, I will say.
Landy T is so good.
To get rid of the other negatives a bit early, the hazard removal is okay. Like you have Defog Landorus and Defog Rotom, and then Defog Altaria. And then you have Magic Bounce Mega Absol, but Mega Absol isn't going to come that often, and when it does, you have to be pre-mega'd and predict the hazards. So, it's okay. And then this team really struggles switching into Fairies if Heatran is dead. Rock types, since Landorus is your ground type and Heatran is your steel type. Your only rock resist is Sneasler. And flying types, because your only flying resist is Heatran, since your electric type is Rotomo, and you don't have a rock. So those
Maybe
types can be
maybe that's
really,
why they're
really problematic.
terroring. Like no, they wouldn't over.
I don't
This
see a world where you Terra Electric Rotomo over Tapu
this
Lele.
team is good, but it's like confusing.
I
Like
think the team's really good.
these are all
I
great
did put it
mons.
really high
Yeah, I
because
would put it
I
top
haven't got to the
three.
positives yet. I did put it third. I put this
Okay.
team third.
Yeah.
For a while, I had it first, and then I looked at Fact Luigi's team and my team a little bit harder, and I was like, I think they're just better overall teams. But Coltrane's does have a very good team to get into those positives. The offense is absurd. It is crazy. Half the team are like breakers. You got like Sneasler, Landorus, Lele, and then like offensive Heatran are all hit crazy hard. Zoroark too, even if you run like a spec Zoroark set. And then you got really good cleaners as well with like Sneasler, Scarf Landorus, Scarf Lele, stuff like that. Mega Absol is a good cleaner too. And then even that, you got really good sweepers. You got Unburdened Sneasler, like Swords Dance, Rock Polish Lando, like Calm Mind, Stored Iron Defense, Stored Power Lele. Just really good offense. And that's bolstered by really good speed tiers. You have good high-end speed that goes down the whole way. Really good. There's not a gap that's larger than 15, which is really nice. The pivoting is pretty strong. You got Landorus, Sneasler, Vaporeon, Rotomo, and then Mega Absol also can run Baton Pass if you really want to. And Zoroark has U-turn. I forgot about that. The really good pivoting overall for this team, and good defensive synergy with like Landorus, Heatran. The only thing that hits both of them is water. You have Vaporeon, Water Absorb. You got Rotomo for that. It's just really good defensive synergy overall. And then one last thing I do also have, the hazard game, like Stealth Rocks could be better because like Landorus and Heatran can run them. You're gonna be able to fit them every game. Sometimes both of them want to do other things, but that's not a really big deal. But the main thing is Samurai Hisui is a broken Pokemon,
Yep.
and setting spikes for this team is yikes. If you got like spikes for like a Specs Lele, the steel type just gets melted by the spikes. You can switch into Lele like one time, and
Yep.
then you're done.
Gotta time that sweep real well.
Yeah, you gotta. It's this team. You're gonna have to. It's another one of those teams you're gonna have to out offense to beat. Because playing against this defensively, your walls are just gonna get farmed by Heatran. They're gonna get trapped by Heatran, toxic, taunted, and they're just gonna die. So you have to out offense this team.
Heatran
So
is such a
overall,
ridiculous mon.
Heatran's awesome. Heatran is one of my favorite draft Pokemon. It's such good glue on so many teams.
It can save your butt when you screw up, which is why I like it a lot.
Yes, it can. But yeah, overall, just really awesome team from Coltrane's here. I really like it, and there was a reason, obviously, that I had it at first for a while.
Tapu Lele is one of my favorite draft mons, just because it's another one of those like Buzzwole. You have to plan for it, or you're just gonna get stomped.
I've actually never used Lele before, surprisingly. I need to.
Give it a go.
And,
it's fun.
I've been playing draft for over almost 3.5 years now, and I've never drafted Tapu Lele before.
Wow.
Huh. I need to do that.
Think give it a go. The first time
I'll
you
put it on my list.
throw Psychic Surge down and like somebody doesn't think and they try and Shadow Sneak and you just like crush them.
It's so funny. I've seen those interactions happen a few times. They're always
it's
really
wonderful.
funny. Except for when you're on the... I once tried to Toxic with my Tapu Fini one time, so don't do that.
Rip.
Alright, you want to move on to the next team?
We will move on to Ornladius, the Midnight Carcoal Riders.
It's a funny name.
It is. I get what they're going for. And there's the other Urshifu.
Yep, there's the other Urshifu. So we got Great Tusk. 15-point Great Tusk, by the way.
What?
I forgot to look at tiers before they finalized them. And I was
like,
what? And then I looked at the tiers and I was like, why is Great Tusk in 15 points? What happened? So 15-point Great Tusk. Then we got Urshifu single.
That's a good first round grab.
Yeah, it is. Aegislash, Terra Swellow, Mega Diancie, Serena, Quillfish, Terra Thunderous Therian, Regice, Munchlax, and Terra Crocolore. So, this team was drafted in a really like funny order to me. You got like Swellow round 4, then Diancie round 5, and you got Terra Thunderous Therian round 7.
What was up? How were you guys drafting in this division?
I don't know. This team is just, I mean, it exemplifies the weird drafts that were going on in this division. But the first thing that stuck out to me with this team is like the double fighting core at the first one. Like the first two mons, Great Tusk or Shifu. If you don't have a good fairy or a good psychic, like, yikes. You're dying very quickly to those two. Because they will just hit you over and over with base 130 attack stats, with close combats, earthquakes, wicked blows, and you will fold very quickly.
That being said, there are a lot of good fairy and psychic.
That is true, there are. But then, if you do have fairies, you got like Heavy Slam on Great Tusk, Ironhead, Poison Jab, Urshifu, Psychic. I mean, Urshifu destroys Psychic types. So, it can be pretty tough. It's not just as simple as like pivoting your fairy all the time.
Well, and they took Mega Diancie, so.
I mean, Mega Diancie isn't switching into either of these. To be fair, it still dies to like a close combat.
Yeah.
You also have some really good speed tiers on this team. It could be a little bit faster, but like the mid-range section is very well spread out. I do really like that. You also have some really good cleaners with Terra Normal Swellow is scary. Then you got like Mega Diancie's a pretty good cleaner. Like a Booster Energy Rapid Spin Great Tusk set is a really good cleaner. And so is like a Scarf Thunderous or like a, I don't know, Weakness Policy, Autotomized Aegislash. There's a lot of options here for sweeping and cleaning, which I do really like. You have some really good removal as well. I mean, Great Tusk on its own, honestly, is enough. But then you also have that Diancie Magic Bounce, Mega Dancing Magic Bounce. There we go. And then Serena with Rapid Spin as well. So the removal is really nice here, and it also has really good. Um, I guess I wouldn't say really good, but pretty decent pivoting with Urshifu, Swellow, Serena, Thundurus, all being able and being willing to run like U-turn, Volt Switch, that kind of stuff. So
How did Thunderous T go that late? This is so
I mean, there are a
confusing.
lot of drafts where Thundurus can be kind of funky to fit on a team, so I
Okay.
understand it, but it's still really good, especially with Terra being like Terra
Yeah.
Water to have like only be weak to grass type moves and being able to hit ground types.
Yeah.
Or Terra Flying to get Flying Stab, and then only being weak to Rock and Ice. It's a really good Terramon. I have it in another league, and I haven't been using it the greatest, but even then, it's still doing a lot of work. So it's very strong. And then you got funny Terra Crocolore to do something once probably,
Yep.
and that's it.
And I love that's my wheelhouse. I love that kind of mon.
Yeah,
You
do something
surprise
funny
people
once.
once, and man, what
I mean,
what a good time.
if you don't prep for it, it can win a game with some stuff. It can be funky, you
I
know. I don't. Does it
love
actually learn Torch Song?
my favorite last round mon is Alolan Graveler. Usually 1 point. You throw Terror on there. You give it Galvanize and a Focus Sash, and you can Electric Explosion people that
Yeah.
don't see it coming. And it's
Yeah,
so
if they like a
stupid.
Corviknight or something,
Yep.
run like Magnet Pull
And
Explosion.
yeah, they're like, what the fuck is? Oh no.
What is Graveler?
Yeah, because it looks like a just using up points pick, but it's like such a. And then they see it on the team. It's like what? It's a lot of fun.
I mean, if your one pointer can force like a Corviknight or a Skarmory to run Shed Shell, that's a
Mm-hmm.
good one pointer.
Yep. No, it definitely does its job. It's a
I did just
very
realize though, Crocolore does not get Torch Song,
aw. Oh
which is very
yeah.
sad. It would be a lot better if it got Torch Song, unfortunately. But it means still can do some funny stuff with Will-O-Wisp and Unaware and Slack Off and stuff like that. So still not useless. I don't see it coming to more than one game, but hey, you got to use 2 points somehow, right?
Yep.
So some not so great things about this team that I noticed is the hazard setting isn't great. Your rocks are on Mega Diancie and Great Tusk, which really shouldn't be running Stealth Rock most of the time. Great Tusk can if it's running like a defensive set, which it can a lot of the time with Urshifu. It doesn't need to be super offensive all the time. But I would have liked another rock setter. The spikes are pretty good with Quillfish, like spikes and toxic spikes, but Quillfish can't come to every game, and if it does, a lot of the time it dies pretty quickly. So hazards, they're fine, but not great. Ground types are going to be an issue because Edgequake weakness is really kind of bad here. Like Great Tusk can switch into a lot of them because it has really good natural bulk on the defensive side, but that's kind of it. Like Earthquakes, like if like Swellow and Thundurus don't want to be switching into those mons because if they catch a Stone Edge, they fold instantly. And if they Terra into like normal with Swellow or Water with Thundurus, they're going to be able to be hit by Earthquake, so that they just die to that anyway. So ground types are a bit of a problem. Also, a more niche thing, but something I thought I could point out is water types that can hit Quillfish are a problem because water types almost always have Ice Beam to hit Serena, and then the only other water resist is Terra. I guess Terra Water Thunderous. I didn't really think of that, but if a water type has like Psychic or Earthquake or something, water types could be a problem as well. And this is just like a personal preference thing. I think Thundurus and Swellow are really good Terra caps, but I would have loved to see Terra Great Tusk, especially because it's only 15 points, which means you get another 10. You could have done Great Tusk and Swellow, which
Mm.
honestly,
Yeah.
really good in
Now
my
that you
opinion.
say that, huh?
So, which like Terra Thunders, don't get me wrong, still really strong. I think Terra Great Tusk is a little bit more reliable. And then it also gives you a Terra type on both the physical and the special side. Where I guess Swellow can run Terra Normal Guts Facade. So, but Swellow's almost always a Boom Burst spammer. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Overall, pretty good team. It also, it gave me a feeling of like a little bit of just like discombobulation. Like the Mons are good. I just don't know how well they're gonna work together.
Yeah, I'm trying to like Aegis Slash is kind of funny.
I like Aegislash a lot. It's a good
I,
Pokemon.
I think it's a good mon, but just for this team, it's like
It's a very big glue piece. If Aegislash dies, I could see this team falling apart because it really helps with like fairies, especially helps with fairies. Um, what other types it can help with? I guess honestly, like grass types kind of give this team a bit of a trouble
that's
without
that's kind of
Aegislash.
funny.
Yeah. But just like little stuff like that. Aegislash is very important here, so keep that alive, and this team will do very well, in my opinion.
That's
Even if I
been your
didn't,
number one bit of advice. Find your
I mean,
glue and keep it
find your
stuck.
glue and keep it alive. With my team, it's Tapu Koko. I'm gonna be keeping that thing alive as long as I can.
Some spicy glue.
Spicy glue. So, I mean, I didn't rank this team super high. I think I had it 11th. Yeah, 11th.
I think it's gonna
But
surprise some
it
people.
it can still do some big damage.
Yeah.
I still do like the team, even if it's not my all-time favorite.
And with that, we move on to Dr. Geo himself's Columbus Gallades. And
Yes.
there's
So
the
he's
Mega
got
Scissor. I knew it was towards the
there's
end.
the Mega Scizor. It's Geo's team. So he's got the Mega Scizor, as said, Terra Tornadus Therian, Roaring Moon, Zeraora, Clodsire, Volcarona, Terra Dunsparce, Tapu Fini, and Timber. That's not a mon you see every day.
No, no, it's not.
It's also a mon that you're not going to see at all, because if
Nope.
Dr. Geo brings Timber, he is trolling.
Hey, sometimes
That
you gotta
mon
lean into the
will
troll.
never be used. Like Girder, I understand. I have a big soft spot for Girder. It was on my first ever draft league team, and I named it the Boulder, and it kind of
The
became a meme in
boulder.
the community. But Timber is not Girder. It is not it. Do not bring Timber to a game.
It's got some sick hair though.
It's all right. So the first things I noticed here, this team has basically 7 Pokemon on it because Dunsparce comes to like 2 games, Timber never comes, and then that leaves the top 7.
Easy to prep for.
So it's very easy to prep for. That is my biggest thing against this team. Is like, I mean, everything on this team is, although the top 7 are really scary, it's just they're all coming. So you got just prep for the top 7, do your best, and then like likely have a pretty good shot. Some other things I noticed is hazards are completely up to Clodsire since Dunsparce isn't going to be coming, so it's literally just Clodsire here.
Yeah,
Um,
he has the shape of a friend though.
he is this. I love Clodsire, but he
Hmm.
is not an amazing Pokemon.
But do you want
And
your
then
friend
with
to be doing all your work? No, that's not a
no,
good friend.
yeah, that sounds like a not good relationship. Yeah,
It's toxic, and you know what? Clodsire is
toxic.
already toxic enough on their own, so they don't deserve you.
They do not need the extra toxicity.
Not in their life.
Geo, you can do better. Come on.
Yeah, please.
Another thing, this team has 1 switch in to flying types, being Zeraora, and 1 switch in the ground types, being Tornadus. And if Tornadus terastallizes into a type that doesn't resist ground, good, like you just die to ground types. This team just absolutely folds against ground types. Um, and also doesn't have great breakers on it. Like Roaring Moon is a good breaker, but everything else here kind of needs setup in order to do like hitting hard. Especially on the special side, like Tornadus, fine. Volcarona, I guess if you run like niche sets, but it almost always needs boots.
Volcarona
So
also feels like it might be there to like help Scissor a little bit.
yeah, yeah, because I mean it doesn't even really resist fire though. Is the problem.
Yeah.
So it's just two bugs on 7 Pokemon that are going to be coming isn't the greatest thing. I think if Terra Volcarona was allowed, thank God it's not. I That would have been the move, but I think Terra Zeraora is actually a little better than Terra Tornadus, especially here, because I think you want Tornadus to be a flying type, as I said about like the ground types and stuff like that. But Terra Zeraora is really scary, whether that be like Terra Grass, Terra Flying, Terra Fighting, Terra, I mean, anything really. But
Seems like anytime you make something fast Terra, it's just scary
it's
to deal
good.
with.
It is very scary. I've just seen Terra Zeraora do better than Terra Tornadus Therian so far this generation. So I and then if you like, because then you can still Terra Dunsparce. It's not like it's changing anything, you know. um, but so to get into a little bit more of the positives, It's got great high-end speed with Zeraora, Tornadus, and Roaring Moon, all being 119 or above. Most teams don't have more than one Pokemon above like 120 or 115. This team has 3. So that'll be really scary to prep for, especially with like if you're in like Booster Energy Speed Roaring Moon and you have Bullet Punch Scizor. Scarfini's not terrible, and then Quiver Dance Volcarona. So this team's pretty fast,
What would you
which is
run
nice.
besides Bullet Punch Scissor, out of curiosity?
I mean, I guess if you're running like a does it get curse? Like a curse set?
I don't know if it gets cursed.
Or if you need like, I don't know, Iron Head. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like if you need the roll or something. No idea. But I mean, Bullet Punch is almost always on Scizor. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
It does. This team has really good pivoting as well with Torn, Roaring Moon, Scizor, Zeraora. All can run. All love running pivot moves. Especially Torn and Scizor. Those two especially love spamming U-turn.
It works, and it hits hard for them.
It does work. Which for Scizor, I mean, I don't want to take a base 150 attack stab
Nope.
U-turn from that thing.
Nope.
That thing hurts. So another thing is the sweeping threats here. Like I said, Roaring Moon is a good sweeping threat. Zeraora with Bulk Up, Scizor with Swords Dance, Volcarona with Quiver Dance, Tornadus with Nasty Plot, Tapu Fini with Calm Mind. Everything from the top 7 outside of Clodsire can sweep here. Which,
Clodsire is also
like,
just super annoying.
it is. It's pretty passive a lot of the time, but if you don't have a way to like abuse that, or if Geo can play around that and just get into the threats again anyway, it can be a bit of an issue. So yeah, like you know the 7 that are coming to the game, but can you deal with them? That's basically what this team is. The top 7, really good. They synergize well together for the most part, and it's just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know it's predictable, but it's just good mons. So
And
I
so,
do like the
predictably, you
team.
should always bring Earthquake and Fire Mons.
Yeah, bring Earthquake, fire moves, and flying moves, and you have a good shot.
Sorry, Gio.
Yeah, we just told everyone this strategy.
I think that's
Unlucky.
the whole point of this.
I mean, yeah,
Not just
that's the whole
making
point of
people
this. Is
mad
to...
with tears, letting them know why.
Yeah, well, this is why your team sucks,
I
actually.
think we've
so.
only actively made fun of like 1 or 2.
I don't know if we made fun of it. I don't know if I'd say that. But you're right. It's all for
That's
fun
my
and games
fault.
in the end, anyway.
Yeah, that's what we're all doing. None of us are doing this professionally.
I don't get paid for this, so
Yeah, I wish I did. Damn.
if only.
All this stupid online game stuff that I do for free. Really should think about
Imagine how much money you would get if you got paid for it.
Darndest thing. A lot of
You
people
wanna
would
move
have a
on to
lot of
our-
money if you could actually get paid for these things.
That's true. Well, most people aren't willing to pay.
Nope.
You want to move on to our second last team?
I absolutely do. The one person who will make them pay. A12's Arkham City Delibirds.
Yeah, so this team is weird. It's got...
That it is.
I assume there were some grace transactions and that wasn't a round 1 Hatterene, but if it was, respect, honestly.
I see. Yeah, I see. This is the Steve Low Smart look at a team analysis. I see Trick Room here.
You do. Slowking with Trick Room, Avalugg, Granbull, Tyranitar, Hatterene.
Hatterene's like
Pretty-
textbook Trick Room.
Pretty big threats in Trick Room. I did point that out on my list of things about this team.
Ooh. I didn't read your whole list. I'm sorry.
Yes, I think I did.
I
I hope I did. That's
I didn't get to
this
the
is like
end.
the biggest Trick Room team. Yeah, I did. I did point it out. But so the team is Hatterene, Greninja, Mega Medicham, Terra Celebi, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Slowking.
Oh, how did I mess this up?
Yeah,
I must
missed a
have
few
like
Terras.
undid these somehow.
Oh, Terra Celebi, Terra Tyranitar, Excadrill, Slowking, Drapion, Avalugg, Granbull, and Terra Pikachu.
Yo, bring that
I am if you don't know, I'm an admin of EDC, and in our last season, in our lowest division, Terra Pikachu was kill leader. It had, I think, 20 kills.
Terra
in 7
Pikachu
games.
is a sneaky mofo.
Terra normal Pikachu with fake out extreme speed is
Yup.
a demon.
Yup.
It is a demon. It farmed a division.
Uh,
And
fully on the
For one point,
table after Little Cup, I was really looking to run this mon.
yeah. Unfortunately, Pichu exists, and
Yeah,
can't run Pichu. Pichu sucks,
exactly.
unfortunately, too.
Yeah, I
Pichu's really,
know.
really bad.
My next draft team, I'm probably bringing this mon. So I've just
I
seen it
would.
do some dumb
I mean,
stuff, and that's
and
my
it's never
MO.
drafted, ever. Like,
Yep.
ever. No one ever takes it. So it's always available for, like, 1 point, maybe 2.
Yeah,
And it
it's
just does
another one of
so
those
much damage.
1 point mons where you get a lot more utility out of it than you'd think.
Yeah, with Terra, honestly, I'd put Pikachu at, like, 4 points. It's really good with Terra normal. Um, some other really good things about this team. As you said, the Trick Room mode with Terra, Tyranitar, Avalugg, Slowking, Granbull, Hatterene. Really good stuff there. Can be really scary and hard to prep for. This team also has really good physical breakers. You got like Mega Medicham, Excadrill, Tyranitar. Those 3 things hit like a train. Especially in sand, you got Excadrill with Sand Rush, like Choice Band EQ in sand. That's gonna do a lot of damage, especially with Sand Chip. You got some good cleaners. You got like Greninja, Sand Excadrill, like I said. Um, Pikachu, Terra Normal Pikachu is a pretty good cleaner. And you got some good sweepers with like Calm Mind Hatterene, Calm Mind Celebi, D-Dance Titar, Swords Dance Excadrill and Sand. Just stuff like that. Really good offense overall. And I really like the hazard game of this team. It's got really good Stealth Rock setters. One of those is going to be able to bring rocks. Greninja doesn't love running spikes, but in a lot of matchups it can. And it can cause some ruckus that way. Can even do some Protean shenanigans and become immune to electric with spikes, which can be funny. And you got really nice T-spike setters with Greninja and Drapion. Drapion loves running toxic spikes. Really cool with that. And then you got Spin with Excadrill. Excadrill loves running Spin. And then you got Avalugg as well. I mean, Avalugg runs like 4 moves with like Spin, Body Press, Recover, and Stealth Rock, so it can always fit it.
And all that being said, the move Taunt exists.
The move Taunt does exist, but like, and Ghost, I guess, for Rapid Spin, but you can say that about everything, right?
Yeah, it's fair.
Taunt is indeed a move in Pokemon.
But for a Trick Room team,
That's true. It can be a bit of annoying for Trick Room teams. But this team doesn't need Trick Room to function. It's just a nice,
it
bonus
just
to that.
wants to.
It does want to. I
In
agree.
its heart and soul, it believes in the Trick Room, and I can't knock that.
I would be surprised if this team doesn't run Trick Room half the
I mean,
weeks,
against
at
the
least
right
on
team.
1-1. What was that, sorry?
I said against the right team, if you really pick out someone where like they'd be stupid to run Taunt on the mon that has it, this team could be really annoying against.
That's true. And like if a team is like really fast, like they don't
Mm-hmm.
have any like super slow mons, Trick Room's really good in here. But I mean that's when I love running Trick Room options on teams is when the other teams like their slowest mons like base 50 or something. Then you
Mm-hmm.
can just underspeed everything and just like go ham. Um, but so going into the negatives of this team is just weird. Like it's constructed really weirdly. It has 2 waters, which like is fine. Greninja and Slowking, they do very different things. That's completely fine. I understand. But then you have 4 psychic types.
Yep.
Sure, one of them is Terra, but that leaves you still with 3 psychic types. Don't know why. You got 3 dark types, I guess, to counteract the ghost and dark moves that are going to be coming at the psychic types, I guess.
I don't
What?
think Hatterene's coming unless they're running Trick Room.
Yeah,
That's my
that's a good point.
thought.
But I mean, I also guess Tyranitar's Terra, so it's not gonna be Dark type all the time. But like
Yeah.
3 Dark types is weird. 2 Fairies is fine, because one. I mean, most of the time both of them aren't gonna be coming to games, but one
Yep.
of them can come to most games. But then you have no Fire types, no Flying types, no Ghosts, and no Dragons. Which like, sure, those types aren't like mandatory, but they're still nice to have.
There's a reason they're so good.
Like there's like especially with like Fires and Flyings, right? Those types are pretty good types. So you usually want them on your team. And like sure, Terra Celebi and Tyranitar, they love running Terra Flying. But like that's your flying type shouldn't be a Terra Pokemon. Like that's not how that should work. You
Mm-mm.
should be able to bring a flying and then also have your sweeper go Terra Flying. You shouldn't be like, oh, I need a flying type in this matchup. I guess I have to run Terra Celebi, right?
Celebi's already flying, so it makes sense.
I mean, yeah, I guess thematically. Also, one more thing I have with this team, like, sure, Greninja and Mega Medicham are, like, really good, but there's not like that one Pokemon that's like an 18 to 20 pointer on this team.
The one mon that you're like, how do I even prep for that? I
Yeah,
just have to
it's like a
I just gotta sack two to maybe get that out of the way and hope I can still win, kind of mon.
yeah, like your Urshifu's, Dragapults, those kinds of mons. Like that's this team doesn't have one. I mean, Mega Medicham got a nice buff with Trailblaze, and Greninja being like balanced with Battle Bond now gives it a lot more variety. But I don't think either of those mons are like should be like the cornerstone of the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. They should be
And
nice,
then
like, secondary threats.
yeah, they're really good secondary threats, but not primary threats. And then the last thing I have is like, yeah, this team has trick room options, but one, you can't always set it up. Two, taunt exists, and three, sometimes it's just not good for your game plan. And outside of that, this team's pretty slow. You got like Greninja, and then Excadrill and Sand, and that's kind of it. Your next fastest mon is base 100. So
And
not
then
a
it goes downhill from there.
yeah, that goes down. You got Drapion 95, Pikachu's not coming often, and then after Excadrill, it is base 61 with Tyranitar, and then you have 5 Pokemon below that. So not great. This team's really weird. I could see it working really well. I mean, it worked well week 1. They got a win.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
Yeah,
a
maybe
really,
we're just
really
talking
good
out our
win.
butts right now.
Mega Medicham just like farmed.
Maybe that's
So
the
like
whole
yeah,
point. This team is confusing.
it's oh, this team's really bad. I can just like breeze through and like win this, and then they're like they just kill you with Mega Medicham or something.
Yeah, maybe it's a sneaky rogue team. I like that, and I think my favorite team name coming up next is, I think they're gonna have a lot of upsets this season. And with that, we move into Phil's Jigglypuff.
Yep, the last team in the right, the last team that in the draft.
Oops! Don't look at that.
Um,
Don't look at it. I
oh no,
messed up.
it's the wrong team.
Don't look at it. Shh. Shh.
Shh.
Shh.
I don't know.
Wow,
I
look
don't
at
know
that
what
cool
you're talking
picture of Larry. Wow.
about. So the team, Phil's team. Hey, there we go. Not the right Terras though. Okay, I'll just go through. So the team is Iron Bundle, Spectrier, Terra Gliscor, Cyclozar with Shedtail, Terra Bronzong, Iron Hands, Grimmsnarl, Volbeat, Sandy Shocks, and Muck. So the first thing that stuck out to me with this team is Shedtail Cyclozar. Personally, in my opinion, Shedtail is a broken move that should be banned. So
I thought it
having that,
was.
yeah, it should be, in my opinion, but it's not. And Phil has it with some really good setup threats. He's got Iron Bundle, which you do not want to let have a free substitute. Spectrier, same thing. Gliscor, same thing. Iron Hands, like those four,
Catch these
Bundle,
hands.
Spectrier, Gliscor, Iron Hands, you do not want those guys getting a free substitute.
Nope.
So that'll be a bit of a trip to prep for. You also have some really good high-end speed. Iron Bundle, Spectrier, Cyclozar, all really fast, really nice. The 121-101 gap between Cyclozar and Sandy Shocks isn't great, but it's fine. It's serviceable, especially because you have 3 mons above that threshold. The pivoting on this team is really strong. Flip turn Iron Bundle, U-turn Gliscor, U-turn Cyclozar, Shedtail Cyclozar, Volt Switch Iron Hands, Parting Shot Grimmsnarl, U-turn Volbeat, and Volt Switch Sandy Shocks. Most things on this team can pivot. Outside of Spectre, Bronzong, and Muck, everything can. And with Shedtail, you got to predict right, or you could just lose on the spot to the great cleaners in Bundle, Spectre, Gliscor, that kind of stuff. So, really scary team. Made even scarier by Shedtail.
Yeah, like I said, I saw you had it put at 8, but I think this team is gonna upset some of the top teams. It's just silly to deal with, and like you said, like it shouldn't. Like Cyclozar shouldn't be able to be played right now. It's
Yeah, I mean they should
nuts.
be allowed just without Shedtail.
Yeah, without
And put it
Shedtail,
in like
exactly.
eight points or something. That's
Mhm.
around where it would be without it. It's still a decent mon with like taunt, rapid spin, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
I
but
honestly,
it's
looking at all these
broken.
teams and talking about them, I would probably put Phil above P McGee. So put Phil at 7,
Yeah,
getting into the top half.
I
Um,
see this. I see this team maybe making a cheeky playoff run.
yeah, I mean Phil's also a really good player.
Mhm.
So I've known Phil for a while. I've played against him a few times. He's very good. So he can definitely pilot this team well.
Can we
I
also
think
talk
he
about this scuffed N64 sprite for Muck? What is this?
is it.
It looks really
Oh my
bad.
God, what is
Yeah.
that?
It's like, oh,
That
like, look at all the other ones. I'm like, oh, there's some Sugimori art. There's some, like, regular 3D renders. Oh, no.
and then there's just N64. It
Yeah.
looks like Grimace. That looks
Who took,
awful.
who took all your polygons?
Bro has like 20 polygons.
Anyway.
Um, yeah. So along with the awful sprite, there's some also pretty meh things about the team. It doesn't really have. I mean, it does have breakers, but like the breakers are all stuffed by something. Like Spectreer's stuffed by um normals and darks, as we know. Um, Sandy Shocks can be, but it can be difficult to find a good matchup for that. Iron Bundle, when it runs specs, it's a beast, but a lot of the time it can't really run specs. Especially here because the removal is Cyclozar, which wants to be spamming Shed Tail, and Gliscor, which doesn't really want to run it. So like you would want to run specs more, might not be able to. Physical side you're okay. You have Iron Hands, but that's kind of it. Gliscor needs setup. Grimmsnarl needs setup. Cyclozar isn't a breaker, stuff like that. So it's a bit weird. Like there are breakers, but they're very situational. There are also some really big fire and fairy weaknesses. Your fire resists include Cyclozar, and I guess Terra, Gliscor, or Bronzong if you wanted to do that. Then you got the fairy weakness. Your resists are Bronzong, which is a really good fairy resist, but is prone to getting worn down, and Muck, which is not great. And like I said before with the hazard thing, not great hazards. And honestly, Terra Gliscor is really good, but Terra Bronzong is why? I mean, it's here because it's better than Terra Volbeat, I guess. But I would have liked to see Terra Iron Hands and Terra Sandy Shocks. I think those two benefit from Terra a lot, and I think you can run either of them rather than just Terra Gliscor every week.
I'm looking at math real quick, and maybe the points are wrong, but we can't go over 25 for points with Terra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're at 26.
Oh, it's Terra Gliscor, not Terra Spectre.
Oh, oops.
So that puts it at 25.
Yep.
Originally,
Right.
they
Don't
actually
mind
were
me.
at 26. Phil had Gliscor and Sandy Shocks, and no one caught it.
That's
He
pretty
didn't.
funny.
He didn't. It didn't come up in his week 1 game, thankfully. So we asked him to change it this week, and he chose Bronzong because that's kind of the only other thing he could do.
Mm-hmm.
But he tried to get 26. It didn't work. We caught it.
A for effort, Phil. Honestly, I appreciate
for
the
effort.
hustle.
And like
and
I pinged him to change it, and he was just like, "No." It was really funny. And then he DM'd me like an hour later and was like, "Okay, I'll do Bronzong." But it was really funny.
I also appreciate Mucklearn's explosion. That's all
Oh,
I'm
does it?
saying. Oh, it do. As
Choice band explosion.
as a self-proclaimed explosion aficionado, Muck does learn explosion,
Gotcha.
and I have abused it in the past.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. We're talking
Huh.
on like heart gold.
Oh, and like in game.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, that's back when Explosion have defense too.
Yup.
So it was even better. Base 500 power move.
I had people
Explosion
that
used to be so
just
broken.
they just don't want to play against me anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine. It would want to like
I
just
made-
troll him with like minimize Muck just to blow
I
up.
made an awful, awful
That'd be really
team.
funny.
Awful, awful team. And like Electivire was really good back then too. And like it was really easy to predict in when like you were gonna get hit by an electric move, so you just drop him into motor drive and just crush
Ooh,
whatever's
yeah.
left after you blow up the main threat.
Yeah, I guess if you could like bait with like a Gyarados or something
I
like
baited with Feraligatr.
that. Oh, gotcha.
Because
Yeah,
it
that's a
looks
good-
like
that's a
I
good one.
don't know what I'm doing, and it's like, why did this dude bring a Feraligatr? And so they go to just cook it, and I switch into Electivire because they stopped thinking.
And you get a free boost.
And... yeah. But anyway, I love Mug.
All right. Well, that's all my thoughts on the team. You got any final ones?
Outside of Muck, Iron Bundle also has a soft spot in my heart. It does some silly things very well, and outside of those, not too much. But I see what Phil has it for. He's
I do
gonna
wanna point
really
out-
need to rely on that ice.
Yeah, Iron Bundle's a really good Pokemon here. I mean, he's just really good in general, and like can do some funny stuff with Encore, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to point out Volbeat. I know Phil's a Volbeat lover. He loves Volbeat and Illumise.
Okay.
Kind of makes me sad he didn't Terra it because it does get Tail Glow, and if you pass it a substitute from Shed Tail, you go get a Tail Glow up for free. Terra Volbeat might be pretty good, but
Oh
I
man.
don't think it gets Terra Blast, so that's probably why he didn't do it.
Oh, that almost
Unfortunately, maybe it's in
ripped
the
the
DLC.
dream. Yeah,
You never know.
maybe.
But I guess I could go into like my full ranking of the teams.
Sure, sure.
I don't think I did that all the way.
Do you
And
want me to
this
pull
is
up
like,
your full ranking?
sure, if you want to. I just don't think I. There's definitely some stuff I missed if on like on each team, and I didn't look at it for longer than like probably I don't know 30 minutes for the ranking itself. For each team, I did like a pretty good look, but for the ranking itself, and this is all personal preference of mine. I have a very specific playstyle that I like. So if your team doesn't fit that, I think it's worse just automatically. So I'm gonna start from the bottom. In 14th, I had Destiny. 13th was A12 QSD. 12th was Anna Bunny. 11th was Orn Latios. 10th with the random team, top 10, Helix Fossil 1. In 9th, had Dr. Geo. I'm going to move P. McGee to 8th and Phil to 7th.
Ooh,
6th
good
was
got McGee.
Black 117. 5th was Barrigo. 4th was Soul. 3rd was Coltrane's. 2nd was yours truly. I love my team. And of course, the consensus #1 Fat Luigi
It's a
from us team. That
disgusting
team
team.
is just insane.
Good
I
again.
do
Good
not
luck.
know how he got that. And like I said, I'm very glad I dodged him in the regular season.
Yeah, good job drafting, Masters. You created a monster.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my final ranking.
And with that, at coming up on an hour and 45 minutes, I think
Jeez,
that's a
really?
good a
Oh
time as
my
any to
god.
stop. Yeah, it is almost 9:30 here on ye old East Coast. Um, I will shout out again. Thank you for being the brains behind this operation, Wombat. I appreciate
Of
it.
course.
I would have just made stuff up.
Thanks for
My
having me.
my video would have been half an hour.
That's all right. I really do like diving into teams like this. It's I've done it a few times before. Always like doing power rankings, so I really appreciate you reaching out to me and us doing this together. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, happy to do it, and I learned a little bit myself. And
It's always a
I
good thing.
hope I gave out some real good dumb ideas to people.
You did. You had some pretty good input on some of the teams. I appreciated it.
And with that, I'll see you fools in Little Cut. You guys will be tussling with Wombat. Unless you're fuck Luigi, then you won't see them until playoffs. But with that,
Hopefully.
that is your Larry Master Division Season 4 Power Rankings for Week 0/1. We were Wombat and Stee. For anyone that may have actually watched this entire video, what is wrong with you? Why did you sit through this whole thing and not just go to your team and maybe the team you're playing that week? Jeez, it's too long to watch the whole thing.
Hey, background noise.
Go touch some grass. But I joke. Looking forward to this season. Yeah, thanks again, Wombat, and we'll catch y'all in the server.
Adios.
Peace.